Um, I wanted to share some observations and things about Fibonacci, and sometimes I call some order block and order blocks. I would just wanted to explain things about this. So I took this example here, which is just draw a monthly line, which could be a monthly trend line here. But sometimes when we try to find confluences or to understand how the market is working, what is leading, is it this fib here, is it another one, is it a confluence of two fibs that we are using because they have created support and resistances at the end, that's all. Then we look for things. So if we take this fib, for example, which would be what we would draw first, or we could draw this one, but we would have nothing here. So we say, okay, let's see what we have. Is this fib accurate? Is this fib validated by the price action? And we say, okay, we draw the fib and say, okay, we stop here, right to the 32, retested it. Then we broke, we had stop on the 50%, went to the 32, broke through. We went through the 61.8, which is unusual. Then we came back to the 50%, broke again this one, and arrived to the 76.4, 78.6, and stopped to the peep on the 88.6. So that's a cool, that's a good fib. We have confirmation of many interesting things here. But would there be another way to look at this? And then you can draw, for example, this swing and look for something. You say, okay, let's draw this swing here. And if we look the swing, we say, oh, nice. We stop right on the 161.8 extension. We had a top on the 272 extension, so that's great. But if we look further, say, oh, look, we stopped here, but that was the 236 and the 214, right to the peep. We can extend it a little or extend it to the right, and we see that finally, even this swing or this fib on that swing that was, I would say, finished or whatever, it was no more the one we would have looked at, but we see that finally this one has been support and resistances too in many occasions together with the one we just saw. And of course, when we have confluences, it can be even more interesting, like here, for example. So in this example, we see that this area of 236, 214 fib has been working. Why it has been working? Because it had created in the past some areas of support and resistances, and those areas of support and resistances are still working. They are still giving some price reaction. So it's something we need, but it's something interesting to look at, because sometimes we focus only on the last fib or what should be the best one or something like this, and they are not always the only one we should look at, because the oldest swing can give us some very, very good results like we see here. Concerning the order block story, the order block are, for example, I will take off the fibs. When you look a swing like this, where you have several, it's a weekly chart. So when you look a move like that, where you have several green bars, and in the middle of a green bar, you have a small red candle. So those one are the one I call, and not myself, it's a guy called MGH that is doing that, but it's very interesting because it's based only on price action. So this one would be another block. And in this case, we use only the body of the candle. And what are the other blocks? The other blocks are supposed to be, let me put it perfectly to the body, more or less. Okay, good. So I will put that one, lock it, and we have another area here of order block. So we take the last one, for example, this one. I will hide this rectangle here. We take just this order block here. We do the same. Okay, let's put that on the... Of course, you don't try to fit with that. You just draw it as perfectly as possible right to the bottom and the top of the body of those small candles. So I will unblock that one. Okay, we have it here. You can use the magnet. I like to do it by manually. And here, well, we have the same. We have this order block that finishes here, and a little bit lower we can go there. Okay. So, and what happened is when you look left, when you look right that time, we see that those order blocks has been holding the price in some areas, but really, really nicely. They have been, you see this candle, the body is right on it. This one over there, those two of the weekly candles, they stopped on the bottom of the order block, and we see it gives some price reaction. So that things we can have a look. The perfect one are the one like this that are alone in a big area. For example, this one here would have been another block and things like that. Okay, then let's look at another pair that we just spoke this morning about, and we can make more or less the same observations. Here, for example, you have a fantastic order block alone in the middle of this big green succession of candle, and you see how this order block has been holding the price to the pip, really to the pip. The two parts important in the order block are the bottom and the top of the body of the candle, and we see where we are now. By the way, that's what we spoke this morning about this pair, which can be a USD indicator. So you see how this one has been working, and same thing here. If we would look at that, we would probably try to find which fib is the best one. If we take let's say the normal fib, if you take a regular fib, we find nothing really consistent here. You will do something like this. You are at the bottom, so you take this low here, which should be what we would do. We have nothing to do with this fib. Then we try to find something. We say, okay, let's go here to this big swing from the top to the bottom of this big thing. We have still nothing in this area. So that's a little bit frustrating. We see it has been working, of course, there and everything. But then what we can do is you do the same as I did in the other pair. You take the swing before, you take this swing, and what you see it has been working, of course, on the 100%, but it has defined perfectly the stop here at the 272 extension, ready to the pip. That was a perfect thing, and we had a double top there. And what we see too, and that's really interesting to look at, is that the order block we spoke about is defined in between those 236 and 214 fib. Really, they have defined it, so they are creating with it this area of support and resistances, but a strong one that has been holding the price in many occasions here, and now we will see what happened here. But that's another one example where we see how the past swing is helping us a lot to see what happened even on the after the next swing. We keep this one and we look at that and we see it. Another one we could have done would have been this one. This one, same thing. We say, okay, this is one swing here. We not only look on the big swing outside, you look on the inside, say, okay, that was a big move here. So you take this swing from 0 to 1 and you look at the extension and you say, oh, nice. We are now right at the 272 extension, which is an important one, and we know that. If you want to make sure it has been working, you go on the daily and you say, was it working nicely? Of course, here you see we drop to the 272 extension. We bounce on it, came back to retest the 1-to-1 of this move, and then we broke down and we have respected nicely the 272. We have respected very well. Look here how we respected the 161.8, the 2, same thing, we respected it, and now we are at the 272. So we know we have a confluence here because we saw that we have this fib, we have here the 272, the 214, we have the order block, and that's what helps us to define the areas where we can see some nice reaction of the price, and that's what we have been seeing here. This move up is not small. I mean, it's a real, it's 3% move up. So it's something I wanted to share with you about what I look for in the fibs, and why sometimes not to look only on the regular swing that everybody is teaching, but try to find something a little bit further that can be confirmed by the price action, as we saw on those fibs. They have been confirmed several times, and they help you to define very good areas of support and resistances where price can react nicely.